So using the factor theorem to write polynomials as product of its factors, this is really where the factor theorem comes into play when we try and start to factorize things beyond quadratics. Now let's do it on a quadratic to start off with. We know how we can factorize this one, but what we want to do when we try and factorize these ones is to look at the factors of the minus 8 there. Now we know that it's going to be x. It's nice because it's monic, because so we know that it's going to be an x minus something is going to come into play, or x plus something. So we look at the factors of 8. There's our factors of 8. So really what we're looking at is like they're going to have two of those are going to be factors of this. So it comes down to a guess and check. Hopefully the more you do, the better you get at picking which ones to pick. So we go through and test them out. We get to positive 4, and we can see, well, when we substitute 4 in, we get 0. So that means the remainder of 0 means 4's a root of that. So if that means if 4's a root, that means x minus 4 must be a factor of that polynomial. So if that's the case, well, we've got minus 8. We know it's monic, so it must be x times x. Minus 4 times what would give us 8? X plus 2 must be plus 2 there, so x plus 2 is the other factor. So how do we do it with this one's a little bit easier as well, because we do the factorization first. Remember, try and factorize a common factor if we can to start off with. Then we've got a quadratic. So again, start picking. You've got plus or minus 1 or plus or minus 2. We try 1, we throw it in, we get it equal to 0. That means x minus 1 must be a factor, which leaves, if x minus 1 is going to be a factor, minus 1 times what's going to give us minus 2. Be x plus 2 is the other factor. So this is the process we have to go through to do this. So we're looking at x cubed being monic, so it's going to be plus 8 there. We're going to look at the factors of our rest of our brackets. So again, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 8. Really, when the larger that gets, the more factors it gets, the harder it starts to be. But with this one's pretty nice. So first of all, I'd have a look at 1 to start off with, and we got lucky to start off. X minus 1 works. So now we want to look at going, well, I know that it's going to be x minus 1 in one bracket. Then if I'm going to expand it out, I'm going to have a quadratic in the other. So because it's x cubed and it's monic, must be just x squared. And then because it's going to be minus 1 there, and it's got to multiply to give us plus 8, I'm going to get minus 8 there. What's the middle term? So again, from that one, what we've got to look at and go, well, minus 10x, how am I going to get that? So I know I'm going to get minus 8 times x, because I've got these two terms already. So minus 8 times x is going to be one term. And then I'm going to look at minus 1 times what would give me the minus 10x there. So if that's the case, I know that minus 1, if I'm going to get minus 1, and I've got to get it to 10x, that's got to be all equal to minus 2x. So minus 1 times what would give me minus 2x, and that gives me the 2x. So that's why I'm able to pick a plus 2x there to give me that quadratic. And then I can go, okay, I can factorize quadratics pretty easily. So what two numbers multiply to give me 8, and then add to give me 2. So it's going to be the 4 and minus 2, because it's monic, so it makes it nice and easy. So that's the process we're going through to find what that middle term, that's really the key, is finding that middle term there. If you want to check to make sure you're right with the middle term, expand out and get the terms in x squared. So x squared times minus 1 would be minus x squared. 2x times the x gives me 2x squared, and then we collect those terms. 2x squared minus x squared gives me a positive x squared. It works. So 2x is a pretty good, it works out pretty well in that case. So again, the process we're looking through to get here, I'm looking at the factors of minus 30. I haven't put all the ones that I've guessed and checked and didn't get there. So if I get to minus 2 to start off, finally get through to minus 2. There's the one that gives me 0. I've just basically check until I get one that gives me equal to 0, so I know it's a factor. And then I'm able to get the other brackets. So you could go through, as I said before in the last video, you could go through and say, well, what are the factors of minus 30? And keep testing them all till you get, well, minus 5 would be a factor and positive 3 would be a factor. And then you're in business. You're going to get the other two linear terms, because you know it's going to break down at least to 3 linear terms there. So there's the factorisation we can't do. But otherwise, I'd just decompose it and have an x plus 2, and then I'd play around with the numbers, because I know there's going to be x squared. That must be minus 15, because the 2 times minus 15 is minus 30. And then I look around and say, well, how am I going to get that middle term? What's it going to give me? What do I need to do? I'm going to have minus 15x. 2 times what's going to add to that to give me minus 11x. So I'm going to use that process. So here's one where I've gone, okay, well, testing numbers through. I've got P of 3 was equal to 0. P of 1 was equal to 0 when I went through. So there's 2 of the factors. So I'm going to get to minus 21. I know I've got to have minus 3 and minus 1. If I multiply that out, it gives me a positive 3. Times what's going to give me minus 21? It must give me an x minus 7 in that term. So the same thing is starting to happen through here. So however you go about it, it's up to you. The more factors you got there, the harder it is. But it's possible to do it that way. So going through testing, I'm able to apply the factor of theorem to get those ones. So as we go through, if you need to stop the video again, feel free to stop the video and copy down the solutions and have a look. And you see with this one, minus 42, like that's a lot of factors to test. So once I probably tried 1, didn't work, tried minus 1, okay, then I was able to start getting through x plus 1, and then getting through, that must be x minus 42x. What's it going to be in the middle to give me the minus 41? So I was able to get plus x minus 41. So the plus x worked. So decomposing it gives me that, and then I'm able to factorise that down to x minus 6, x plus 7. Or you can go through and keep testing values until you get the 6, and then we got the minus 7 from that. So check out the solutions. Keep in mind if you're not able to break down an equation as well. So testing it there, it gets a little bit harder when you've got a non-monic term there in that one. So you have to get a value that does work and then break it down to in terms of a quadratic if you can. So in question 10 there, so again you can see the breakdown getting down to that. It's a little bit harder to try and pick factors there because that's going to give you a minus 1/3 as a factor. So it's going to as a root there. So that's going to be a bit harder. So again, there's the breakdown. So 24. What are we getting? So looking for the factors there. And then question 12. So have a look. Get used to the techniques and trying to work it and break them down there.